Hello students. Today in this session we are going to study about the mouth. That is the first part of alimentary canal, right? So before going to start or proceed to the chapter, I would like to give a small recap of the previous lecture. So we have learned in our previous lecture that steps of holozoic nutrition. Okay, so what are the mode of nutrition in animals? That is holozoic nutrition. Okay, and what we have learned that holozoic means holo means whole, zoic means animals. That means the animals those who eat the food as a whole, either solid or liquid. Then we have mode of taking food. We have learned about mode of taking food. That means how the other organisms they take their food. What is their mode to take the food? Like human beings, they hold their food in their hand and then they put into the mouth. So there are different ways to take the food in different organisms. Then we have learned about the alimentary canal, which runs from the mouth to the anus, which is a very important part, and it is actually a long tube like structure, runs from mouth to the anus. And then we have learned about associate glands. What are associate glands? The glands which are part of digestive system but not part of alimentary canal. They helps outside the alimentary canal. So like salivary gland, pancreas and liver, they are glands which helps us in many ways, like they secrete certain juices that helps in digestion. So we have learned about this all process, and now we have to learn about that what is the steps in holozoic nutrition, as we have learned about the holozoic nutrition and their steps. So what is the first step? So today we are going to talk about the first step, and that is digestion in human beings. Okay, so here we have to learn about the digestive system in human beings, as you can see on the screen. So the first step of holozoic nutrition is ingestion. Okay, that is ingestion. So what is ingestion actually? It is the mode of it is a taking food into the body. That is the process which helps to take the food into our mouth or into the body. That is called ingestion. So we have to learn about the ingestion process. So we take food through our mouth, and the process of taking food into the body is called ingestion. Okay, so we have to know about how digestion taken place in mouth. That is the very first part of alimentary canal. Now, so mouth is also known as buccal cavity. Okay, so that buccal cavity contains teeth, tongue and salivary gland. These are the organs, these are the part of buccal cavity or mouth which helps in digestion. So now we have to know about what is the role of teeth in digestion, what is the role of tongue in digestion, and what is the role of salivary gland in our digestion. So what is basically happens, the digestion start from mouth itself. Means our digestion starts from mouth. It does not means कि we only take up the food into the mouth, but when you take up the food, the digestion starts. That means it starts from the mouth itself, but not complete digestion, partial digestion taken place. So digestion begins the mouth when we chew the food with the help of teeth. The teeth cut the food into smaller pieces, chew it, grind it. Tongue also helps in many ways, and salivary gland. So one by one we will know about it. So now we can say that digestion starts from mouth itself. So now first part of the mouth is our teeth, which is very important part of our body, and without teeth nobody looks pretty. Okay, so we must have to take care of our teeth. So in our lifetime we have two set of teeth, that is milk teeth and permanent teeth. Okay, so that milk teeth that grows at the age of 5 to 6 months, and it start falling at the age of 6 to 8 years. It means we have two set of teeth in our lifetime, that is milk teeth which is also called temporary teeth or baby teeth, and permanent teeth. So these two set of teeth. So milk teeth having they start growing at the age of 5 to 6 months, and they start falling at the age of 6 to 8 years. It means कि up the child, when it comes to the 6 to 8 years, when they become 6 to 8 years old, all the milk teeth will fall down, and this milk teeth is replaced by, or this milk teeth are replaced by the permanent teeth. Okay, so what is the number of this temporary teeth and permanent teeth in our mouth? So milk teeth having 20 in number. If I could write here, milk teeth 20 in number. Okay, and permanent teeth, it is 32 in number. We will know it later on. So that is the about different set of teeth. Okay, now there are different types of teeth we have, as you can see: incisor, canine, molar and premolars. So first we have to know about what is their functions during the digestion. So what is incisor? It is the front teeth that helps in cutting. That means it is a cutting or biting teeth. Canine, they are tearing teeth. Molars or premolars, they both helps in chewing, then helps in mixing, helps in grinding. Okay, so this is the different types of teeth and their function. So what is the function of incisors? They are cutting teeth. Canine, they are called tearing teeth. Molars and premolars both, they helps in chewing, they helps in mixing, grinding, and helps in crushing the teeth. That is about the different function of the different. So there is a word called mastication. Okay, what is mastication actually? Chewing break down the food into the smaller pieces and mixes them with saliva. This process is called mastication. Means the chewing the food, the grinding the food, and when the food breaks down into smaller particles and when it mixes with the saliva, it is known as mastication. So this is about the teeth. As you can see on screen, we have this kind of teeth that is also called oral cavity. Okay, so let's move. In the picture we can see the baby teeth, that is also called milk teeth or temporary teeth. As I told you that milk teeth is 20 in number. So we can count this as it is shown in the picture. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That means 10 in the upper jaw and 10 in the lower jaw. So we have, that means the baby who have milk teeth, they have 20 number of teeth, few number of teeth, because at that age few molars and premolars are missing. Okay, so this is about the milk teeth, baby teeth or temporary teeth. Next we have permanent teeth. As you can see again, the upper jaw or lower jaw, and upper teeth and lower teeth. So we know that in an adult, and after 8 years, a child having 32 number of teeth. Okay, not at the age of 32, at the age of 8, when they grows on, because some wisdom tooth they grows or appears and in later age. So again we can count this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. It means 16 in the upper jaw, 16 in the lower jaw. So we have altogether 32 teeth in our lifetime, and it is permanent teeth. Now this teeth will not decay, not will fall down. If it fall down, it will not reoccur again. So that is about the permanent teeth. Now I would like to tell one thing also, that the number of teeth or the different teeth, number of teeth in our mouth, like incisor 4 in each jaw, canine 2 in each jaw, molars 6 in each jaw, premolars 4 in each jaw. That means total 8, 4, 12 and 8. So all together it is 32 teeth. Okay. So that is about the number of teeth, their function and how it helps in digestion. Okay. So now let's move to the next part. Now as I would like to show you this type of teeth. Now you can see this incisor. Okay, this is incisor. As you can see, it is cutting. Why? Because here dekho, it is very flat, and canine it is sharper than incisor. And now you can see premolar and molar, they are broad, so they helps in chewing and grinding or crushing the food. Okay. Now students, we have talked about the teeth, what the teeth is, what is the function of teeth, how they help in digestion. Now there is also matter of teeth care. We must have to take care of our teeth, because if we do not take care of our teeth, what will happen? Okay. So there is a disease, a particular disease that is called plaque, as you can see on screen. Plaque. It is a soft, sticky film that build up on our teeth and contains millions of bacteria, and that bacteria actually causes the plaque, which causes tooth decay. So what happens during this day? Like all of us, we are very much fond of our food, and we need to take food to stay alive. So when we eat food, what is told to us, what our parents regularly told you, that brush your teeth properly, regularly, on time, twice in a day, and also after and before eating any meal, you must have to wash your mouth. But sometimes we ignore that. So what happens after that? When food stay in our mouth for a longer time, okay, like if we do not wash our mouth, if we do not brush our teeth, so what happens properly after eating or after or before eating the meal, that food sticks with our teeth, and if it stays for a longer time, it turns yellowish, and of course because it mixes with the saliva, and then this teeth becomes yellowish in color. That is actually called plaque. Okay, that is called plaque. So what happens basically, we have good bacteria in our mouth, as we know that there is good bacteria also which is found inside our body, and there is some bacteria which is present in our mouth that helps in many ways. So but what happens when the food stays for a longer time, what that bacteria do, they start feeding on that food. Okay, they start feeding on that food. So might be that food contains some sugar, like we know that what we eat, that is sugar or starch. So that if the food is containing sugar, correct, so that food containing sugar, what happens, this sugar is decomposed by the bacteria. Okay, that sugar is decomposed or break down by the bacteria, and it will produce a certain kind of acid. Though that acid is not very strong, but then it stays for a longer time, it start decaying or degrading your enamel. So now what is your enamel? Okay, this is our enamel. This part, the hardest part of our body, enamel, which is white in color, it is enamel. Okay, and then the other part is called dentine, and then the inner part is called. Now I would like to tell you that if the food stays for a longer time or bacteria feeding on them, they start degrading your enamel, as you can see. Like you can see in the second picture that this is the plaque appears, because we are not taking care of our teeth, and if it is degrading continuously, they damage your enamel. So if you start taking care of your teeth, then maybe it is cure. But if we still ignore that, then what happens? The decay start in enamel. In you can see in picture, you are not liking or taking care of it, it will become advanced decay, like in this picture. Here you can see a small part, here you can say that it part increases. So if you are not taking care, then it will become a advanced decay. And if that means they start decaying your this part, that is enamel part, okay, and these two parts are very sensitive part, okay. So when decaying part reaches to this part, to the dentine part, that is very sensitive part, and it is, dentine is not very much hard, not soft, but in between them. So but it is sensitive. So when it reaches to this dentine part, what happens? You start feeling pain, because now it is reaches to the sensitive area where bacteria, they causes disease or they damage your tooth. So when it reaches to the dentine part, you start feeling pain, and it is very painful. And if it is reaches to the pulp part, it is again very painful, and eventually your tooth become weaker and then it fall down, which is called tooth decay. That is called tooth decay. So we have to take, because it is very important part of our body. So we must have to take care of your teeth, brush your teeth properly twice in a day, wash your mouth eating after and before, okay. So now that is about the teeth. Now we have to move next part, the tongue. We have tongue. It is a muscular organ, most muscular part of our body, and it have 4 taste buds: sweet, salty, sour and bitter. And what is the function of this tongue? It helps in detecting the taste of food. It helps in detecting the taste of food. It also helps in mixing and swallowing the food. It means that tongue, they helps to push the food into the mouth, inner part of the mouth, so that the food reaches to the esophagus. Apart from this all, that tongue also helps in speaking. That is not the part of digestion, but it helps in speaking. And as you can see in the picture, we have this different kind of taste bud: bitter, sour, salty and sweet. So this is the function of tongue. Next we have very important part, that is salivary gland, okay. So what is salivary gland? It is a associate gland. What I told you, the salivary gland is not the part of digestive system, sorry, it is the part of digestive system but not the part of alimentary canal. So these glands release a certain kind of juices. So first, what is salivary gland and how many numbers? We have 3 pairs of salivary gland in our mouth. That means 3 in either side of the jaw and 3 in the other side of the jaw. So we have 3 pairs of salivary glands. And what is their function? That secretes a watery fluid which is called saliva. Whenever your parents or your mama gives you a very delicious food to you, what happens? Your mouth start watering. So what that water is? It is saliva. And that saliva contains an enzyme. Okay. So first, what is enzyme? Enzyme is a chemical substance which helps to break down complex food material into simpler substances. That I told you, whatever the food we eat, it is very complex, like starch, vitamins and fat. These are very complex food. So these enzymes helps as a catalyst and helps to break down these all food materials into simple soluble form. So what happens? Salivary gland also release a certain kind of enzyme which is called salivary amylase. Okay. And that salivary amylase acts on starch and convert that starch into sugar. It means whatever we eat, that also contains starch. So when the starch is come in contact with this enzyme which is called amylase, salivary amylase, that amylase act on starch and convert that starch into sugar. Now I will give you the example. When you eat chapati or roti, and after chewing it for a longer time, what you feel? That you feel that it becomes sweet in taste. How it becomes sweet in taste? Because that food, chapati and roti, they contain starch in it. So after eating and chewing, that food is mixed with the amylase, that salivary amylase, and then that amylase converts sugar. So when it becomes sugar, you feel sweet in taste. So that is about salivary gland. It helps in breaking down the starch, but not completely. Remember, not complete. It is partial digestion of food taken place. Here, partial digestion of starch taken place. That means starch, yes, sugar is not completely the simple part. Again, this sugar, further sugar is, that sugar is has to be breakdown into their simpler form. Now I would like to show you the location of salivary gland. As you can see on the you can see the picture. We have 3 pairs of salivary gland, I told you. So if you can see, this is 3 number. So 3 in each side of the face or cheeks, or 3 in the other side. So that is how we have 3 pairs of salivary gland. And what is their location? One is found near the ear, like in front of or beneath the ear, and one is found in your chin, side of the chin, and other is in the mouth floor. So this is about the salivary gland. We have, and this is the different kinds of salivary gland. Even we have in our lips, we have, sorry, in our lip also there is salivary gland. What happens? There are approximately 600 to 1000 small salivary gland present. Small salivary gland is present in our mouth. It is in the floor of mouth. Now I would like to, as you can see the floor, as you can see here, this is the mouth floor, mouth floor. Okay. So here many number of tiny salivary glands are present. Even in our lip, even in our tongue, there is different kind of salivary glands, and small salivary glands are present. So that is how digestion taken place in mouth. Okay. So students, I hope might be you are clear what I have taught you. So go through this video and keep on learning, and we in next lecture we will know about esophagus and stomach. Thank you very much.